fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Many, many great men and women in the Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out there risking their lives, especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
Can we agree, though, that there have been and may be today some bad people at the department?
Hey, welcome back. If you just watched that clip, you already know this video is going to be good. That was Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana questioning Attorney General nominee Pam Bondi at her Senate confirmation hearing, and honestly, that might be one of the most compelling pieces of political questioning I've seen in a long time. What I love about Kennedy is that he actually builds his argument. He doesn't just come out swinging with talking points. He lays a foundation, and by the time he lands his main point, you're already nodding along. And what he's talking about today, the legitimacy of the Department of Justice that affects every single one of us regardless of where you stand politically. We're going to watch the full thing together, and I'll give you my honest thoughts on the other side. If you're new here, hit subscribe and drop a comment below telling me what you thought of that clip. I read every single one. Let's get into it.
Senator Cruz would be next, but he's not here, so I call on Senator Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Bondi, welcome. Congratulations. Can we agree that legitimacy is important to America's criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
Can we agree that legitimacy is important to the Department of Justice, which in part administers our criminal justice system?
Yes, Senator.
And if Americans come to believe that our criminal justice system or our Department of Justice is acting illegitimately, that makes Americans less likely to accept the results of that system, does it not?
Yes, Senator.
And that makes Americans less likely to follow the substantive laws that we pass that are administered by the Department of Justice. Isn't that true?
Yes, Senator.
And if that happens, we have chaos, don't we?
Chaos.
And the social contract is breached, isn't it?
Yes.
Do you remember a person by the name of Michael Avenatti?
Yes.
Several years ago, he was a media star here in Washington.
An attorney, correct?
Yes. He was a media star. And many members of our media loved him because he persistently bashed Donald Trump. And he was on TV every day. He was on CNN more than Wolf Blitzer. Do you know where Mr. Avenatti is today?
I believe he's sitting in prison, Senator.
He's in jail because he was a crook. And the Department of Justice helped put him there, didn't it?
Yes, Senator.
Do you remember a gentleman by the name of Sam Bankman-Fried?
Yes, Senator.
Boy genius. So smart and so powerful that he thought he could command the tides. So smart and so powerful and so rich that he would go to meetings with serious people like Bill Clinton, like Tony Blair, looking like a slob, looking like a fourth runner-up to a John Belushi lookalike contest. And he thought it was cute. Where's Mr. Bankman-Fried today?
I believe he is in prison, and I believe that's from the Netflix series I saw as well.
Because he's a crook. And who helped put him there?
The Department of Justice, Senator.
Can we agree that there's some really, really good men and women at the Department of Justice?
Many, many great men and women in the Justice Department, as well, Senator, as all the law enforcement agencies that fall within the Department of Justice. They're out there risking their lives, especially the law enforcement officers, every single day.
Can we agree, though, that there have been and may be today some bad people at the Department of Justice?
Yes, Senator.
We don't know for sure because for the last 4 years, the curtains there have been tightly drawn. But I think a minority of people there, have delegitimized America's criminal justice system. The most destabilizing act that I saw in the past 4 years, maybe in the history of the department, is when Attorney General Garland decided on the basis of dubious facts and untested legal theories to criminally prosecute a former president of the United States. And not only that, this is the special part. He decided to do it after the former president of the United States had announced that he was going to run against Attorney General Garland's boss, didn't he?
Senator, are you referring to going after a political opponent?
I think so. Now, this is one person's opinion. That kind of stupid takes a plan. And I say that because, number one, this is America. That had never happened before in America. That's the sort of thing that happens in a country whose Powerball jackpot is 287 chickens and a goat. It doesn't happen here. And I call it stupid because it broke the seal. It broke the seal. It normalized it. There are a lot of ambitious prosecutors in America, Democrat and Republican. And I'll bet you right now there's some prosecutor in a particular state thinking about, well, maybe I ought to file criminal charges against President Biden's inner circle for conspiring to conceal his mental decline. And that's the road we're headed down. And you've got to fix it, Counselor. You've got to fix it. And here's what, in my judgment, what I would ask you to do. Find out who the bad guys are and the bad women and get rid of them. Find out who the good people are and lift them up. But do it on the basis of facts and evidence and fairness. Because the temptation of some people is going to be, they're going to tell you, look, two wrongs don't make a right, but they do make it even. Don't resist that temptation. Help us restore legitimacy to the Department of Justice.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, we just watched the whole thing, and I have to say, that was masterful. Here's why. Kennedy opens by getting Bondi to agree to a chain of statements that are almost impossible to argue with. Does legitimacy matter to the justice system? Yes. Does an illegitimate DOJ undermine public trust? Yes. Does that eventually lead to chaos? Yes. He's not wasting time. He's building common ground before he gets to the harder stuff, and it works. Then he brings up Michael Avenatti. Remember this guy? The media couldn't get enough of him. But Kennedy's point isn't really about Avenatti personally. It's about the fact that when the DOJ works properly, it doesn't care who you are or what side you're on. Avenatti was a media darling, and he still went to prison. The system worked. That's the standard Kennedy is holding up. Then comes Sam Bankman-Fried, and I love how Kennedy describes him. This person's so convinced of his own genius that he'd walk into rooms with world leaders looking like he rolled out of bed and thought it was charming. And yet the DOJ put him away too. The point is the same. When the system has integrity, wealth and political access don't protect you. Now here's where Kennedy really shifts, and this is the part one think matters most regardless of your politics. He calls the prosecution of a former president who had already announced he was running again against the sitting administration the single most destabilizing act the DOJ has committed in its history. And his reasoning is hard to dismiss. It broke the seal. Once you cross a line America had never crossed before, you can't uncross it. You've handed every politically motivated prosecutor in the country a template to work from. And Kennedy even spells out where that road leads. Someone somewhere is already thinking about filing charges against Biden's inner circle. That's the world this decision opened the door to, and somebody needed to say it out loud. But here's what I respect most about Kennedy's whole argument. He doesn't turn it into a call for revenge. He actually warns against that directly. He says resist the temptation. Two wrongs don't make a right, and they don't make it even either. He's asking Bondi to find the bad actors and remove them, lift up the good people, but do all of it on the basis of facts and evidence. Not politics. Not payback. That kind of restraint is rare right now, and that to me is the real takeaway from this exchange. The ask is principled. Restore legitimacy. Do it fairly. Don't become what you're fighting against. Whether you agree with Kennedy's politics or not, that message is one most reasonable people can get behind. The DOJ belongs to all Americans, and when it stops feeling that way, everyone loses. That's my take. Drop yours in the comments. Do you think Kennedy made his case? Can the DOJ actually be reformed? Let's talk about it. If you enjoyed this one, share it with someone who needs to see it, and I'll see you in the next one.